Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Worldwide TV Network, Women on TV.tv, iTunes 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and all the platforms around the world. So this is a special show because there's some strange woman on the other end from Texas, out of all places, and she intrigues me because of what she does when it comes to cooking. All right, Rachel, tell me who you are and what you're doing.
Hello, my name is Rachel Roberts, and I'm in Houston, Texas, and I like to cook good food out of my kitchen, and I like to grow lots of things, and I believe that every day you should eat something that you're growing.
Yes, very, very true. Talk about this. You like your food healthy and you like your drinks dirty or something like that? I love that line.
Yes. I believe that you should eat dirty and drink. Oh, God. Have a cocktail, eat clean, drink dirty.
What is that drink? What is it?
Okay, so today's drink is a little mock cocktail with, no, not mock, champagne and a little spike of bourbon. And I've got some rosemary from the garden. I've got pomegranates and a little blood orange.
Oh, that's probably pretty good. I like that. Yes. And then what's your dish that you did today, and what did you do on your coffee chat?
Okay, this is a salmon steak that I have seared on both sides, and I've made a delicious low carb, no flour etouffee, crawfish etouffee to put on top. So yeah, there you go. Cajun salmon steak with crawfish etouffee.
That looks gorgeous. I love that. Wow.
Yes, on a little cabbage with a cabbage slaw with a simple lime and salad dressing.
Talk about your garden. How important is your garden for growing your own food for you?
It's very important. I think that it's part of eating clean. I was diagnosed with high cholesterol many years ago. So I think it's very important to watch your heart, watch what we eat. It's, we want to eat really good foods, but we don't want the meal to kill us. So I like to grow a lot of things. And I really believe that every day, make sure you get a little in from your garden, and it'll keep you alive. And the salmon will too.
Talk about your health aspects. Why is it important for you to be healthy?
Like I said, with the high cholesterol, it's extremely important. It's what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And eating clean is part of it. It's just got to become a way of life. I tried years ago, I would try many different diets and whatnot. And, it has to be a lifestyle. And you shouldn't cut back on flavor or any of that. Everything should be rich and delicious, but, you can make substitutions. So, yeah.
When did you know that you liked to cook and why it was important for you?
When I was a child, my mom, she was a great cook, and she taught me how to eat well. So I grew up, and naturally I just took over. And, I never thought that I would be able to cook as well as she does, but, here I am and going even farther with it. So, and teaching my kids the same things.
It's important, isn't it? Because, the United States is an obese nation. And the one thing we do have to do, we have a lot of health problems. So that what you're doing is a really, really great thing. Good job for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Talk about your show, why your show is important and what you want the audience to gain from that.
All right. So every morning we do a little have coffee with me, and I throughout the day I cook, and then at lunch I join with fans and friends, and we turn the cameras on. And it's important for me not just to give out recipes, but also to teach people the fundamentals of cooking, the basics, and how it's, don't overthink things, keep things simple. Don't, if you put too much into a recipe, it gets all mixed up and you can't really taste the richness of the flavors. So today is salmon steak. You keep it simple, a little salt, pepper, a little Cajun seasoning, and then cook it in the oil. The heat is important. The having enough salt is it's sometimes people don't put enough, and you don't want to put too much, but taste things, always taste things. And if you find a recipe that you don't like because it has something in there you don't like, don't use that.
When did you know that cooking and flavor was really, really important? Because some people just eat because they have to. That would have been me. But now I'm learning how to enjoy it more, if that makes sense.
Yes. I think food and eating is a huge part of people's lives. And there are some people that just consume just to fuel their bodies. But why do that when you can have it taste so good? And so, watch me, and I promise you, you'll get some healthy ways to add anything to your food that is to make it delicious.
Talk about, who did you look up to when it came to cooking besides your mom? Was there anybody else that you liked?
Ina Garten. I love Ina Garten. Yeah, everything she makes, I think, is from her heart. And I've never, anything I've ever made of hers, it's never been a fail. And I like it. Yes. I like her style. But my mom, like I said, my mom was a great cook, and I'm Italian, and you know how Italians are, we love to eat and have a little cocktail, and life is good.
Talk about how you grew up eating healthy. Your mom ingrained that to you, so I'm sure you're ingraining that for your family too, right?
I do. My kids, it's so funny. You would think kids would want chocolate cake and cheeseburgers and all these things, but my kids, we're out running around, and I'm like, oh, there's a McDonald's, do y'all want that? And they're like, no. They are completely spoiled with good food, and that's important. Eating well is something you should teach your kids when they're little, and so when they grow up, they're not eating all the junk. Definitely.
That's really, really good. And that is important too. That's great for your kids that they don't want to eat McDonald's. I think that's really cool. Talk about your show, how it came about, and where you want to take it from today forward.
Well, the sky's the limit. We do have something happening with Rachel's Recipes on HoustonLiveTVNetwork.com. So that's in the works. And, please make sure to tune into Rachel's Recipes on all the social media sites, and to connect with me, and to watch where this is going, because I really think this is going to blow up and grow. It's every day, I think the universe calls out, and it lets you know. And it's been letting me know for about a year now. Oh my goodness, Rachel, we're going to see you on TV. Oh my goodness, Rachel, you're going to be a star. And you keep hearing it, and the universe takes you there. And then, once you get there, you're not even surprised that it happened. You're just like, oh, well, what took so long?
That's very, very true. Talk about when you were growing up, what kind of music were you listening to? And then were you watching movies, or were you a book reader?
Oh, I'm definitely a book reader. I'm kind of every night I like to stay up as late as I can. I'll take a little afternoon siesta so I can stay up late when the kids are asleep, and I love to read. So, book reader for sure. And music, I love music. I was playing lots of music in the background. If you saw my videos, and I got, told, oh, you can't do that. Oh, I didn't know. So I love to dance and music, and all day long, we're always playing music here, and it's it's part of being happy. I like old country. I like the old stuff, the classics. I like jazz. I like, I'm not really into the new stuff. I wouldn't even know it if it, slapped me in the face, but.
Talk about where you grew up. What was that like for you when you were a girl to where you are now?
Well, I'm actually in the same home that I grew up in. I'm a Houston born and raised, and my parents, I moved in with them in 2012, and they both got cancer that year at 6 months apart, and I took care of them, which was great closure. So yeah, I'm still here because I love this house. I've been through 3 floods, and so yeah, it's a huge deal. Like the walls have to be cut. You have to move upstairs. It's a big mess, but I'm kind of getting good at it. So, and every time my house gets fixed, it's like a little bit more, awesome. So you get to put new stuff up, and it's fun.
I've been through a flood. That's not fun, especially when it gets to the wall. So imagine this: in Connecticut, there was only 3 Black families in Connecticut. We took our wall-to-wall carpeting because it was all mildewy to the cleaner. If you can imagine that.
Wow. Yeah.
and it's never the same. It shrunk. So it wasn't to the edges. It was like you had the springs that stick out to connect the wall. I mean, the rug on the floor. It was like, it was never the same. And then you couldn't get the mildew out because we had a wood house. It was beautiful.
It's a mess, right? Yeah, it takes months. People don't realize it takes 6 months to get that all fixed. I mean, luckily we have an upstairs area. I built a whole kitchen up there and had to get really creative with recipes.
Talk about if someone were to walk into your kitchen, what would you start cooking for that stranger right away? What would it be?
Tacos. Tacos. I throw some bison out there and make a fresh pico de gallo, throw some low carb tortillas, and yeah, tacos. Real simple, healthy. Now,
talk about why bison meat is really healthy. What do you know? It
is bison. Yeah, I stopped eating red meat, the steaks and everything was tearing my stomach up. So I switched to bison, which is a really, really healthy alternative. And, people ask me all the time, does it taste gamey? Or no, it doesn't. It tastes just like ground beef. Anytime you're going to use ground beef for spaghetti sauce or tacos or, whatever you're going to use, stuffing, your peppers, it's delicious. Yeah, it costs a little more, but, it's worth it.
It is worth it. And it's that healthy factor too, which is good.
Yes.
Talk about this. What favorite charities do you cherish and why it's important to you, especially in Texas?
Okay, so I'm part of this Feed All Children, and I think that is extremely important. I think that there's a problem in the United States with underfed kids and kids that, have to rely on school lunches that maybe aren't so good. And, I think there's a lot of room for improvement there.
Last question. Talk about what's encouraging would you give to people who want to start cooking, sort of like what you did. And what do you say to those kids on eating healthy?
Well, it's funny. I think a lot of kids and people think that eating out and eating fast food, tastes better. But, really what tastes good is fresh ingredients. And really when you feed a kid something that, everything is fresh and everything pops, then they're like, oh, wow, this is good. And your body tells you, your body's going to tell you, wow, this is good. Feed me more. So I think it's important for people and people eat out so much. I think, try doing this stuff at home. And, when you're doing it at home, what you're putting in it. Well, you don't know what they're putting in it. Their goal is when you're eating out is for everything to taste so good. Well, things that make things taste good are sometimes not always the best thing for you. And, when you make it at home, you can substitute and use low carb versions or no sugar and, no flour and make it your own. And I think that's something we all should do a little bit more. Plus, it's fun.
Give your social media links and what's a special dish that you like if you like running late. What's your go-to meal for you?
A salmon, lots of salmon. I love salmon, and I'll make it a bunch of different ways. I do salmon croquettes, salmon tacos, lots of things. So yeah, salmon is one of my huge things to make. Yeah, and then all my links, you can find me on Rachel's Recipes on Facebook and on Instagram, and on TikTok and YouTube. So yeah, look up Rachel's Recipes.
All right, Rachel. So I want to say that I want to thank you for this. You said everything and what I needed to hear, which is really, really good. And as I always say this, if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.